There are 339 books in the Rory Gilmore Reading Challenge, and I'm going to read all of them, and I mean every single last one of them. The Reading Challenge includes all of the books that Rory Gilmore read or talked about during the run of the highly popular mid-2000s TV series Gilmore Girls. Now, to put an additional spin on the challenge, I'm going to read the books in random order, so stay until the end of the video where we spin the wheel to find out what our next book in the challenge is going to be. Hi guys, and welcome back to the challenge. Today we have book 13 in the challenge, which is The Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhoods by Rebecca Wells. This is a novel written in the 1990s, and it's basically about human relationships, mainly female relationships. So there's a lot about friends, there's a lot about daughter-mother relationships in there. It's first book in a series of 3, I believe. So yeah, let's get into it. So as always, please let me know in the comments below if you do know when or where this book was mentioned in the Gilmore Girls TV series. And actually, after reading this book, I do feel there's quite a lot of similarities between this book and the plot in the Gilmore Girls. A big part of this book is about the mother-daughter relationship, although the big difference here being that unlike Rory and Lorelai Gilmore, the relationship of Sida and Vivi Walker is not that great, to say the least. So they, since the very beginning, they had a very rough time together, and they have always been at odds, and it's just been a very difficult relationship from the beginning. And then, thinking a little bit about it, I realized that, well, maybe Rory and Lorelai is not the best example to draw from the Gilmore Girls here. It actually feels like the relationship between Vivi and Sida in the book is very similar to the relationship of Lorelai Gilmore and her mother, Emily Gilmore, in the Gilmore Girls. So very similarly to these two characters in the book, Lorelai and Emily, they have always had a very difficult relationship from the moment Lorelai Gilmore walked out of the house of her parents while she was pregnant with Rory at the age of 16, and from then on it just got more and more complicated, the relationship. Although later on the series kind of developed into a silver lining between the two characters, and they found a way in how to deal with each other. And that feels very much like what we have here in the Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhoods, between that daughter and mother relationship. So what is this book about, the Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood? So the book is basically about the stage play director, Sida Walker, who is currently directing a play in New York. And then she has these kind of interviews, and in one of the interviews, I believe with the New York Times, she gets a little bit into her difficult relationship with her mother, and that reporter and journalist kind of twists it in a way that her mother, Vivi Walker, comes off as this horrible mother. She, of course, then gets very upset with her daughter Sida about this interview. And that's basically how the book starts out, with a very damaged relationship, I would say, between mother and daughter here, with that relationship kind of broken at the beginning of the book. Although we find out very quickly that there's always been a lot of tension between the two characters. However, what happens from then on, Sita, she's questioning her life. She has this great boyfriend who she was planning to get married to, and now she's not sure about it anymore. She is not sure, if she can really love somebody, and then there's this tension with her mother. So basically, the only thing that's really very smooth for her in life at the moment is her job, which she takes very seriously, which she enjoys, and she is then enlisted to direct a new play in Seattle. I don't quite remember what the name of the play was, but it was mainly about a strong relationship with a group of female friends, basically. And Sida takes that as an opportunity to kind of try to mend the relationship with her mother, because her mother growing up in Louisiana in the 50s, I believe, in the 1950s. Her mother had these three amazing friends from, growing up all throughout her life. They did everything for each other. They took care of each other. They took care of each other's kids, and they had this close and very strong relationship, and this kind of group feeling within those four friends that is basically unbreakable, and it's the kind of friendship that everybody dreams of having when they're growing up. And Vivi Walker, Sida's mother, has been able to keep those same friends and the same group of friends for all her life. And so Sida thinks, okay, well, I need some experience on how to direct this play on female friendships. And she would probably not really need the help, but she takes this as an opportunity to get back in touch with her mother, and she keeps writing her mother letters, and then it's like, yeah, can you please help me out with this play? You have the experience of what it is to really be there for each other in a group of friends, and how that kind of dynamic and relationship is. And at first, there's not much coming back from Vivi, but then at some point, she is sending Sida basically a scrapbook, which then is that divine secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood. So those four friends, they call each other the Yaya Sisterhood. And that scrapbook basically details a lot of the memories that Vivi Walker has growing up with these friends. And the book then is kind of a jumping back and forth between Vivi's life and between Sida's life, and kind of Sida finding out what difficulties and challenges her mother had in bringing a family up in growing up in the 50s in Louisiana, and how that kind of group of friends relied on each other to make things easier, basically. That's the gist of the story, and through this book, Sida and Vivi, they start to understand each other a little bit better and start to connect a little bit with each other again. So, I mean, in terms of themes, that this book is mainly about friendship, relationship. There's a lot about loss and pain in here as well. There's also some heavier topics on growing up in a difficult household, almost an abusive household, I would say. There's also dealing with mental issues, with addiction, and these kind of topics that come up in this book. But I would say the core of the book is about relationships and about friendship, about love, and about life in the end. So that's basically the divine secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood. There is, I think, from me reading it, I did feel that it was quite a clear end to the book. So I do wonder what these other two books, I believe, in the series are about, and how that story could continue. But going into a rating here, the thing is, I'm not going to read any of these other books anytime soon, because it's just, for me, this book was quite a bit of a pain to read, I have to be honest. It was far too long, so it was like 400 something pages. Everything felt very drawn out. Like reading these letters, for example, is just not enough story, not enough action here, and all these flashbacks, and then jumping back and forth in time. And to me, it just felt like there's not a lot to the story. It's a detailed account of somebody growing up, basically, and being with her friends and detailing her difficulties in life. But it's not very exciting. It's not very interesting. There's not a lot happening. It's just very, although sad, and I understand the pain that they have sometimes, but it feels very boring, to be honest. And it doesn't really, the characters are not really developed to a point where you really start to care for them or feel for them. At least that's how I felt about it. So for me, getting through these 400 pages was quite difficult. I have to be honest here, and it could have easily been shortened down to 150 pages, everything that's happening in here. So from my side, that's 2 out of 5 stars for the divine secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood here, and I believe I'm being very generous with the 2 stars here, so I'm sorry if this is one of your favorite books, but that's how I felt about it. You know, loving and really enjoying Gilmore Girls as a TV series and as a story that really is very much about these same kind of issues and these same kind of topics about relationships, about friendships, about being there for each other, about difficulties and overcoming them. I can enjoy these stories if they are told in a humorous and interesting and fast-paced way, but that's just not what this Yaya Sisterhood was about. So yeah, unfortunately for me, that's not something that is for me. I'm glad to have read it. Now I know not to read the sequels. But do let me know if any of you guys liked the story about the Yaya Sisterhood. Have you read any of the other books in the series, and do they get any better? Or yeah, just please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And then what's left to do for this video and for this week is to spin the wheel and see which book we are getting for the next week in this challenge. Okay guys, so as always I have my wheel here with the remaining entries in this challenge. We have, and I hope that's correct, we have 326 books left in the challenge and on the wheel. We still can't really read the names here. I hope at some point in the future this is getting a little bit more organized and less cluttered. But anyway, there we go. Let's see what we are getting for the next week in the challenge. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Short book would be nice. I'm kind of busy this week. Let's see, what do we get? What do we get? David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. I have never read it actually, and I'm really looking very much forward to reading this book. So yeah, see you guys next week with a review of David Copperfield. See you guys. Bye bye.